Hello YouTube, so this is the second time running the Candito program for me, and I'll leave a link in the description box for anyone who wants to take a look at the program in further detail and check it out. So this is my first 3 weeks on the program here, and I'm using the strength control variation of the program. There's I think 3 different variations. So I'm just starting off light, and the goal here is just to kind of build momentum and build a habit, because there was a while where I was kind of burnt out from lifting, and it's not like I gave up the gym completely, but I was definitely not consistent going to the gym. So I'm starting off with something light and easy to load, 225 for squats and 275 for deadlifts. I'm not too worried about going heavy, because with this program you can add weight on pretty quickly. You can add anywhere between 0 to 15 pounds per week. And for the accessory work, I'm doing a giant set actually between lying leg curls, calf presses, which are super important, and machine ab crunches. So giant sets are really cool because they build a little bit of conditioning, but more importantly for me, they save a lot of time. And speaking of saving time, each gym session probably takes me about 30 to 45 minutes to just finish, especially in the beginning when the weights are pretty light and easy. So with that extra time, I can just do fun stuff like box jumps and mess around in the gym for a bit, because I do allow myself just an hour in the gym. So for the bench, I am using a narrower grip that I'm used to, and so the elbow positioning is kind of weird because I'm used to a wider grip. So you'll see me kind of focus on fixing that later on in the video. But there's no pauses, which is also something I'm not used to. And dumbbell rows, I'm supersetting this with the bench, and this is just a really awesome way to save time. Barbell rows are cool too, but they're hard to set up, and as you can imagine, I'm not going to bring another loaded barbell over here, but with these dumbbells I can just tuck them right under the bench and it's no problem at all. And yeah, they save a lot of time, and this is a really cool exercise that I've neglected for a while. And overhead press, there's only one set, which is kind of nice. Now with starting strength and strong lifts and ice cream fitness, I've been kind of like indoctrinated and like brainwashed into thinking you need the same amount of volume for your OHP as your bench. But is that really the case? Is that true? Especially if your focus is powerlifting or even just like general power building purposes, the bench press is the king of upper body exercises. But Candito explains it as you have that shoulder exercise in there just to prevent any imbalances and just for overall shoulder health. And then accessory work for the upper body day, I do lateral raises. Now these look a little bit weird because I'm actually leading with my hands instead of my elbows, because I've been just watching and reading too much stuff about how leading with your elbows and turning your arm in like that can kind of hurt your shoulders. Either way, I feel it in the medial delt, so I'm not too worried. And so I do a giant set between chin-ups, dips, and lateral raises. And again, it just saves a ton of time, and especially for the upper body days, it takes me probably like 30 minutes to finish. And I'm not doing any direct arm works. I'm prioritizing compound movements, which is not he doesn't really recommend in the program, but I think it'll be okay for a while. Control days, this is the second half of the week. I use a 10% difference just to start with, and after that it doesn't have to be like a set range between a set difference between the control day and the strength day. They can progress independently after that. And deadlifts, kind of controversial, pause deadlifts. I don't question it. It's in the program. I'm just going to try it. I don't think anything that horrible can happen from it. So again, program training doesn't take too much time, so I had some time for box jumps on this day. For the control day for bench press, I did you're supposed to do the spodal press, and I find I never really did this exercise before, and it's pretty interesting. It really engages the lats. It kind of teaches you how to use the lats, because basically at the bottom, I feel like the bar is just like sitting on my lats, and I actually find it easier than like a full-on pause where I touch my chest. And dumbbell rows, same thing, pause at the bottom and top. For the overhead, there's no pause variation. Instead, you do sets of 10, which is horrible, but it's only one set. You may require more than a 10% difference. Again, just start lighter because you can just always add the weight, more weight next week if it was too light this week. And it's really easy to ramp up the weight, so it's fine to start lighter and just play it on the safe side. And sets of 10 on pull-ups. And you might not actually need weight for these, because I found that my lats were kind of pre-fatigued from the dumbbell rows. So that was kind of nice. So like I don't have to do any extra setup or waste any extra time like trying to find a dumbbell and hang between my legs or whatever. I just go straight for the set of 10. And moving on to the second week, for the lower body stuff, I add 10 pounds. And still feeling pretty easy, but again, the goal here is to just really kind of build that groove and just get the habit back into my life of going to the gym fairly consistently 4 times a week. Deadlifts are 2 sets, which I'm not used to because, again, from programs like Strong Lift, Texas Method, all those programs, they're always just 1 set, so this is 2 sets after squats. So again, if you're trying out this program, I would recommend that you start light. I definitely think it's a good idea for me because I'm not used to it. And box jumps, no rhyme or reason. I just do whatever I feel like on that day. I don't know how high this is. I just stack the box and stack some plates and just go for it. And on this day, you see me working out in normal clothes, and I literally only had like 30 minutes before the gym closed. And I was able to finish the entire training session without a problem. So this program is great for busy people with very little time, because there's just not that much volume. Even though the control days are 6 sets of 4, I don't even really take a break between sets. I just do like 30-second break just to like take a sip of water and track my workout into an app. So it's great for people who don't have much time, because again, like you can definitely finish it in an hour. Even when it gets hard, you can finish it in an hour with longer rest breaks. I also had a fever on this day. Don't work out if you have a fever. It's a really bad idea. So upper body, I add 5 pounds to the bar. And here you see me using dumbbells for the pull-ups. That was 25 pounds. And I was recommended by someone on Instagram to try, since it was looking too easy for me, they recommended that I try double pauses just for funsies. Now, I wouldn't recommend this. Just stick with what the program says, which is just a single pause. But I do think starting from the bottom, pausing at the bottom, is the best thing for the knee, because in the same way that, quarter squatting is bad for your knees, I just don't think it didn't feel good to hang out there, mid quarter squat paused. And then for the deadlift, I decided to try pausing at the knee, because that's a common problem for conventional pullers. Now, I'm actually not a conventional puller. I'm more naturally a sumo puller. And for sumo, you want to pause right off the ground. I think in the program, Candito recommends pausing right off the ground either way. But I'm being a bad trainee and kind of messing around a little bit. But I do recommend anyone who tries this program, just go for whatever Mr. Candito says. So for these pauses, for the spotoprasen, for these dumbbell row pauses, pause dumbbell rows, just pause at the bottom, top and bottom, and I try to count for at least 1 Mississippi, like not literally counting because I'm holding my breath, but at least feel like the weight is motionless. And OHP sets of 10, just so bad. I hate these. I tend to just like try to blast right through it, which means I kind of use, as you can see, pretty crappy form here. But if the goal is for better shoulder health, then maybe I should probably clean that up. That would make sense to me. Pull-ups, still no weight, and I think that's okay, because actually in the program he does say 0 to 10 pounds or 0 to 15 pounds if you don't think you can add it. And sets of 10, I don't think I can add weight. That just sounds horrible. Maybe I'll start adding weight soon, but for now I'm just sticking with just sets of 10 with no weights. And I think it's very important to eat well, eat enough, and sleep enough on this program, because it's not as hard as starting strength, where you're adding weight every single time you're in the gym, but the progression is still pretty fast, so you do need to recover well. So the progress is slower than starting strength, and I think that's fine, because what's the rush? You add weight every week as opposed to every training day. Most people who do, well, not most people, I'm sorry, but a lot of people I find get burnt out after doing starting stretch because it's too grueling to just add weight every single time. Another pro to this program is that it has more variety, so it's more fun. So you're still doing the basic movements, but there's small varieties within those basic movements. So pause squats, normal deadlifts, pause deadlifts, photo press, bench press, and just having that variety, it kind of just makes it a little bit more exciting to train. Just something to look forward to each training session. When you get used to squatting the same way 3 times a week, it gets really, really boring, and it's easy to get burnt out that way. For the dumbbell rows, I started using micro-loading chains, and I'll link to a video where I show how to make these. I think these are really useful, and they're pretty cool. So otherwise, I would have to jump up to 85 pounds, which is a 5-pound jump per arm. And with the barbell movements, you don't really do that because you can add 2.5 pounds to each side. So I think, especially for dumbbell rows and pull-ups, I think it's a wise idea to find a way to micro-load. And you can't really see it here, but I am. No, maybe I'm not. Okay, so I did a micro load here. So another point I want to make is it's really important to track your workouts really well. Track these numbers, or else you're going to make the same mistake as I did and redo the same weights when you could have totally added more weight. So this is the 3rd week, and here this is 225 pounds. So the light squat day is now the same weight as the heavy squat day when I first started out. And yeah, so what else is there to say? Yeah, the first time I paused at the knee was really hard, but it's funny how muscle memory works. After I got used to it, after I did it one time, I felt this felt a lot more comfortable on this day. I do think pausing, it feels like it's helping me because I'm not a conventional puller naturally, so it's kind of helping me, find that groove and find where I'm strong at. And for the accessory work, I just add a rep each time. And once or every other time, as seeing how whatever I feel like. And once I reach 12 reps, then I go up in weight, but back down to 8 reps, and then I just rebuild from there. I think calf presses are really important, not just for calf development, because that's not that important, but for ankle mobility actually. And if you want to learn more about ankle mobility and how to increase it, I'll link a video right here somewhere. And on pause bench day, decided to do double pause for funsies. Again, not recommended, just stick with the program. Dumbbell rows are always double pause, top and bottom. I really enjoy that stretch I feel at the bottom there. And no body English, which is a pro of the one advantage of using doing the dumbbell row as opposed to the barbell row. Barbell row is cool too, but it's more stressing for the body, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending, but I'm really enjoying dumbbell rows now. It's an exercise that I really overlooked for a long time. And you can see I'm also using the micro-loading chains here on the overhead press. Things are starting to get a little bit grindy, and I want to try to keep my form relatively clean, so I decided from here on out I'm going to be micro-loading for the overhead press. Again, sets of 10 are horrible. I like pull-ups, but I do not like doing sets of 10. Still no weights added, and that's okay. And I did not record my accessory work because the gym was kind of busy today, so I'll just kind of go over it quickly. I'm doing two supersets now, dumbbell lateral raises and dips, and cable lateral raises and chin-ups. And I just want more of those juicy delts, so more medial delt is not a bad thing. And now some G4P, before and after progress pictures. There's only a few weeks between these pictures, so there's not going to be much of a difference, especially since I'm not really getting out of my comfort zone in the gym yet. So my philosophy is the bigger weight you lift, the bigger you get. Really simple. There's also a difference in lighting too, so that's going to come into play. But anyways, I'm not really too concerned. I'm not a physique athlete. My goals are more strength orientated, but I do think any physique progress is just icing on the cake, and it's always just kind of interesting to see how a body responds to training. But anyways, that's it for this video. I'll be posting the next 3 weeks of Candito soon. Subscribe if you want to see more of that. And follow me on Instagram if you want to see more immediate lifting content, because I'm always updating that pretty consistently. And let me know if you have any questions down below. Thanks for watching.
Put your goddamn weights away!